And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another one of these ranking lists. Um, all of the movie reviews are off the backlog that are at least going to be coming out while the backlog is still a thing. So now, after you saw my favorite and least favorite video games list, I thought I'd do the same for movies. So that's what we are doing today. Today we are doing my top 15 favorite movies that I have watched. And yes, this is a top 15. I will also be doing a worst movies list. That one will also be a top 15. I'm going to keep these consistent. Um so yeah, I have a lot of honorable mentions to get into though, before we get to this list. And again, I want to say this is my list. So just cope, seethe, mauled. Um, but anyways, before we get into the list, it's going to follow the same structure as the games list. I'm not going to go into it too much, but let's get to those honorable mentions. Yay! Starting off the list at number 15, we have an absolute classic, and I put Shrek at number 15. These first two entries in the ranking were pretty intertwined for me. I had the top 13 pretty set, but didn't really could have gone anyway with the honorable mentions I had plus these next two. But Shrek for me, rewatching it now, it's one of those movies where originally I was like, oh, it was fun when I was a kid, but is it really that good now? It is really that good now. It's still a really really good movie. The animation still holds up really really well. The humor's good. And it's just still a really good story with some really good characters, and it's still a really good like feel good movie, which is nice. You don't always see movies like this age that well, but Trek definitely did. So, and I thought, what deserves a spot on the list. It was the very first ever movie marathon that we did. It was the Shrek movies, so it's pretty cool. And number 14, I put Rango. It's kind of an underrated addition. But after thinking about it for a little bit, I decided to throw Rango on this list because it's another movie where it's like, oh, it was good when you're a kid, but is it really good now? It is. I mean, it's a really, really good movie. Johnny Depp does an amazing job as Rango in this movie, and a lot of the side characters are really good too. With some really nice action scenes and some really good character growth and development, but also some really nice humor thrown in there as well. I think the overall message that it tells is still very, very relevant to this day as well, which you don't always see with movies, especially ones that are made for kids. So I think that was very, very well done, and I think does a really, really good job of capturing that, especially as you get older and rewatch the film. So Rango is still a very underrated movie overall, in my opinion, but why it finds its way on the top 15. Now, I have The Lion King. Turn back to sneeze. I'm gonna go Lion King at number 13. One of the very first movies that I ever watched, and it is still an absolute masterpiece. Over 30 years later, the animation is awesome, but it's a very nostalgic movie for me too. I mean, you'll see a lot of these movies do have some nostalgic aspect to me, but The Lion King is one of the most perfect movies ever made. I only have it at number 13 because I do have the opening scene was a little traumatic for me as a kid, and I don't know. I just couldn't think about putting it higher than that. It is a really good movie, but I didn't feel like putting it any higher than number 13. It was one of my later additions. It was originally just going to be an honorable mention, so it did crack the list though. Number 12, I have Spider-Man: Far From Home, the second Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. This is a good movie. I originally, again, wasn't going to put this movie on the list, but I decided to after some further consideration because the acting is done really really well in this movie. As you'll know, Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man. Um, as I talked about in the games list with the Spider-Man in the Insomniac games, he's my second favorite. Tom Holland is my favorite. Zendaya also does an amazing job here. Really, Samuel L. Jackson, great, great actor. One of my all-time favorites. Um, and the Mysterio stuff is done really, really well in this movie, which kind of adds that extra like wow factor to it. But there's a really good love story told in here as well. Well, it's a continuation of one, I should say. It's not. It's over the course of the whole trilogy, which we'll get to in a little bit. But it's done really, really well. I really like this movie. So I have Megamind. I don't think I've ever had a movie where I've had like zero expectations sitting down to watch a movie, and then I watch it and I'm like starstruck by the end. At least not as much as when I watched Megamind for the first time. Megamind is a really, really good movie, and should say something that it's number 11, and I'm considering it a really, really good film. I mean, all of the movies that I'm talking about today are spectacular films. At least 9 out of 10s for pretty much all of these movies. Megamind is an awesome film, though. I mean, it is. The characters are great. Will Ferrell does a great job as Megamind. The enemies are done really, really well. And kind of that anti-hero but love story type deal as well. With some really, really awesome action scenes thrown in, too. So, I know a lot of people are mad because Despicable Me kind of took away all of the fun out of Megamind. That's why we haven't gotten any more Megamind, except for that show that we won't talk about. But you know what? It's a good standalone movie, and I can appreciate it for its beauty. So that's why I find this way at number 11. Cracking off the top 10, we actually have a tie. This is one of 3 ties on the list. It is Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2. I originally had these ranked separately, but I decided to put them together because I feel very, very similar about both of these movies. These are 2 like really feel good Christmas movies. I mean, they are my favorite. They are my favorite Christmas movies. You won't see any more Christmas movies on this list. They are still, watching them now even, are still incredibly funny, especially the scenes with Harry and Marv. Harry and Marv, great antagonists. Macaulay Culkin does an amazing job, and still is just a lot of great humor. Some of it's a little outdated because they do some references of the times, but both of these movies are done really, really well. Even in the second movie, when he's not technically home alone, he's just out in New York City. They still do a really good job of incorporating the cityscape into his traps, and it's always just 2 fun movies to sit down and laugh at during the holidays, and it's kind of a tradition at this point for me and my family. Really, really love it. Number 9, I have the Elvis biopic that came out a few years ago, the Baz Luhrmann one. Baz Luhrmann is one of my all-time favorite actors. I believe I would rank him probably second behind Steven Spielberg for my favorite directors. And the Elvis movie is awesome. I haven't seen all of Baz Luhrmann's movies yet, but I would love to. It is a marathon. He's only made a few, but so all of his movies are in one marathon. The Elvis biopic, this is another movie where I went into I didn't even really want to go see the movie when it came out, but my grandma was in town and my mom's like, oh, she'll probably really love this movie, so let's go watch it. So we went and watched it, and I was like, it's gonna be a boring movie, It was not boring by any means. It is spectacular. The cinematography is just done amazing. The music is great. Austin Butler does an incredible job as Elvis, and it really got me infatuated with biopics and especially musical biopics. And it's done really, really well here. This movie does get a bad rap with some of the stuff that it does. Yes, Tom Hanks is bad. Yes, they overshadowed him marrying Priscilla when she was 14, which is fucked up. But I think the musical stuff they do good. You know, that stuff not good. This stuff is good. So I still put it in number 9. Number 8, I have Shrek 2. Um, can you how this movie is the epitome of a sequel being able to outdo its predecessor, and how rare that can actually be done, but how spectacular it can be when it's pulled off. Um, Shrek 2 is actually like almost a perfect film. Like, it's actually crazy how good this film is even to this day. Again, Shrek and Shrek 2, I was like, you know, can't be, like, it was good as a kid, but how good is it now that I'm an adult? It's even better. It's even better. The acting is the characters are still just as good. Animation is just as good. They, in fact, well, it's even better. Some great musical numbers here as well. And they do a lot of stuff with the new characters and just bring it all together. It's done. It's just so good, so good. And number 7, I have Wedding Crashers, one of the newer additions to the list. Wedding Crashers, man. Talk about having an experience where there's a sneeze. Okay. Talk about having an experience while watching a movie. If anything was to rival my feelings while watching Megamind for the first time, it's watching Wedding Crashers for the first time, especially the uncorked version on DVD. I knew that it was going to be like humorous and you know, adult humor and funny and whatnot, but the level that they take it to in this movie is unparalleled. Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson also just have some great chemistry on screen, which I think is awesome. And the whole premise around it, about them being like bad people but still getting us to root for them, is really, really insane too. But this movie is, I can't really describe it any more than it just being a wild experience to watch for the first time. Especially the dinner scene. The dinner scene is wow. Yeah, wow. It's great. That's why it's number 7. And number 6, I have Talladega Nights. No, 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 Pomeroy's gonna be mad. No. I don't care. I love this movie. Will Ferrell is awesome in this movie. And I'm forgetting the other guy's name. The guy who's the other NASCAR driver. I don't. I mean, it's a NASCAR movie. What do you expect? Of course, it's gonna be on my list. Well, I guess Days of Thunder wasn't, but you know. Will Ferrell, Tom Hanks. Well, Days of Thunder's an honorable mention, so oh well. Talladega Nights, though, really, really funny movie. I don't care about the redneck parody humor shit. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, that's the stereotype. I think it's better to lean into it instead of painting a picture of something that NASCAR and NASCAR fans are not. Which is exactly what NASCAR itself is doing right now, but we won't get into that. There's some really, really good stuff in this movie. Actually some pretty decent character growth and development, all things considered, but you know, it's a raunchy type comedy movie. Perfect for the peak of media, which is 2006. Cracking off the top 5, we have another tie, and this one's a 3-way tie. I put all of the Deadpool movies in one ranking. Deadpool 2, and Deadpool and Wolverine. As you guys know, I'm not the biggest Marvel fan in the world. Even after experiencing most of the movies, most of the different IPs, I'm still not huge on Marvel. But I do like this. I do like Spider-Man, and surprisingly, I do like Deadpool too. Really, really like Deadpool. It is watching these movies. I mean, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool is like a match made in heaven. He does an amazing, amazing job as Deadpool. The pop culture humor is perfect, but also there's a lot of serious moments too that really make him just a great character. And we really, especially with like the first movie, and then we get some learn some stuff as we go on through the other two as well about actually feeling some sort of sympathy for the character. But you know, he's not always a nice guy either, so they do a good job at balancing that, in my opinion, with some actually sick action scenes and a lot of other cool characters that they work into it as well. So these are three incredibly well done movies, and I know we probably won't see another Deadpool movie, like a sole Deadpool movie. But if they do make another one, I'd love to see it. At number four, and I was originally really reluctant to even put this movie on the list, but after some thinking, I decided to, and it's Spider Man No Way Home, the highest ranking Marvel film on the list. I still hate the ending of this movie, and that is why I didn't want to put this movie on the list, because I didn't rank it as high as pretty much every other movie on this list. Every other movie on here, I think, is at least a 9 out of 10, if not maybe at least an 8, if not a 9 out of 10 or better. But Spider-Man No Way Home, I gave a 7. So why is it at 4? Well, it really should be a 10 out of 10 film. Again, I just hate the ending. I hate the ending with a burning passion. I just don't think it was the ending that we deserved as fans. Now, how that's going to be spun into the next Tom Holland Spider-Man, which is coming out in a few months. I'm very excited to see it, despite this ending. I still think overall, though, this is an incredibly well done film. Bringing back the old Spider-Man and the old villains really is what sets this movie apart and why it's so high at number 4. I mean, I cannot shy away from how good Willem Dafoe is returning as the Green Goblin in 2021. It was actually done so incredibly good, and Tobey Maguire, as much as I don't like him, does a pretty good job in this movie. Andrew Garfield's awesome in this movie too, and you got Tom Holland and Zendaya and doing an amazing job there with all the new villains as well. I think just that all that coming together was done spectacularly well, and so for that I do have to recognize that it's a really, really good movie, and I put it at number 4. Could have been number 3 probably, if not for that ending, but it's still very high. All right, we're getting to the top of the list. Number 3, I have WALL-E. I originally didn't even have WALL-E on this list, but recently rewatched it and realized how incredibly good of a film this movie is. And kind of now as an adult, again, learning how like some of the true meanings behind it and what everything does, and kind of understanding the characters a little bit more. It's done spectacular. Again, I say it pretty much all these movies, done spectacularly good. WALL-E's an amazing character. The captain's awesome, even though he's like a comic relief character. That's really cool, and there's a lot of lore behind the film too, which you don't really understand as a kid. But and there's some really, really good like musical numbers and all that sort of stuff that you feel really good while watching WALL-E. And I'd kind of forgotten that, but I was originally rethought to it. That's why it's number 3. Number 2 is a tie. And it is a pretty solidified number 2. And it is Jurassic Park and The Lost World Jurassic Park. Now, originally I had The Lost World at number 3. But I decided to put them together, again, just like I did Home Alone 1 and 2. These two films changed my life in many, many ways. Watching them for the first time right before Jurassic World came out so that I would know what's going on in Jurassic World, even though there didn't really have to, but we didn't know that at the time. These two films are just marvels of media, even to this day. It's hard to describe the impact that Jurassic Park alone made on me, including The Lost World. I mean, The Lost World with Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum, awesome. But there's some really, really good, like, underlying tones and messages in this movie that make it still, like, you know, the big dinosaurs and shit. That's awesome too. Like, the really cool, like, both CG but also like real life animatronics and what they were able to do in the 90s for those, and all these, you know, these environments, and is really, really good. But that's, you know, they were trying to appeal to the kids for that one. But for the adults, I mean, there's some really good discussion scenes and scientific stuff that they do here. And the dinosaurs are really cool too. I'm an adult too. I like the dinosaurs, okay? But there's still some, like, incredibly done characters, incredibly done death scenes, incredibly done suspense and action scenes, and it's done. Going back and watching these two movies and realizing how far the franchise fell with just Jurassic Park 3 alone. God. We don't even talk about the rest of them. But these two, they're pretty solidified at that number 2 spot. And number 1, as it has always been my number 1, ever since I was like 3 years old when it came out, and it will never not be number 1, it's Cars. You know me, you know my favorite movie's Cars. That will always be what it is. Yeah, I know, yeah, Cars movie, yeah, that's why. That's so much to ask. But no, it's an awesome movie. You've got the sick racing scenes and all that stuff too, but the stuff in between is great as well. You know, Lightning McQueen, great character development, some awesome music scenes that they put in there. You know, some great relationships, and I call a few of these movies perfect movies. You know, you can consider Megamind a perfect movie, Lion King a perfect movie, the Deadpool movies you can even consider a perfect movie. You could consider WALL-E a perfect movie, consider Jurassic Park perfect movie. Whether there's any movie that is truly, truly a perfect movie in my eyes, it is Cars. Cars is a perfect, perfect, perfect film. And it will always be that way, never to change. Alright, guys, that is the list of my top 15 favorite movies. I guess it was technically a top 19, but there were some ties. Okay? Again, my list. You want to make your own list? Go ahead. Do it. I don't care. But yeah, that's it for this list. Top 15 worst movies going to be coming out soon. That's going to be a good one. So stay tuned for that. And also, what do you think of my list? You know, where would you have ranked these movies? What's your top 15? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But otherwise, that's going to do it for this video. Stay tuned for other much more amazing content. Until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.